Okay, today's video we're going to talk about whitelisted ads on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and how you can use those actual ads to make bank. Okay, we're going to go through the step-by-step process on how to do this, or at an overall level enough for you to be able to take away information from this video and go out and actually make money with it today or starting today. I'm going to tell you what it is, what's so cool about it, what kind of results you can actually get with whitelisted ads for your company. Particularly if you're in certain industries where it trends to, or tends to do a lot better than in other spaces. Namely anything where you have trouble getting trust from an audience, these whitelisted ads, and using it at least the way that we're using it with clients at our agency is going to really clean up. Okay, so with all that said, I'll get right into the content. If you haven't heard about ad whitelisting, this is basically where you get to take other people's ads on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and basically advertise them again. And not just advertise them again, but also change what's actually been shared. And when I say ads, I mean, I made it, make a small correction here. Ads, posts, other people's posts on their TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, and you can basically advertise them again. So if somebody shares XYZ post about a review that they made of your product, let's say, or your service on Instagram, you spot it, you could take that post and you can actually advertise it so that not just like 10% of the people on their Instagram following list sees it, which is about what it is, because if you share something, the algorithm determines, oh, there's good engagement with it, or there's not. And if there's good engagement, you'll get shown to all of your follower list, whereas if it doesn't get good engagement, it might only show to 10% or 5%. And respectively, if this influencer did it like organically, just let's say, did a review of your product or service, you find it, like I said, you can go and make sure it gets shown to 100% of their audience. You can make sure it gets shown multiple times to that audience. You can make sure it gets shown to people that follow that person, that Instagram creator, content creator itself. And not only though that you can actually take what they shared and rebroadcast it to their follower list, you could actually change what's there. So if they had an image, you could turn it into a video. If they have a video, you can change it into a different kind of video that squeezes down. Maybe a whole video was made, but there was a section of that video that just talks about your company and the review that you had. You can squeeze that video down and condense it down to just the part of the video that talks about the review of your product, and then advertise that to their follower list. So pretty cool. Of course, beyond that, when somebody actually shares something about your company, like if somebody reviews your product or service like that, they're not asking people to buy. You can take that content and then put a buy now link and then link it directly to your product page. It's pretty cool. And so you could take the post of anybody basically for any reason, but the main feature is when somebody shares something good about you, and basically advertise it again to their list of followers, given most people don't see it the first time, and you can guarantee everybody sees it for automatic further exploitation or whatever purpose that you want. So to see a good review, but whatever purposes that you would have to make sure a post that somebody shares gets seen by a higher percentage of the audience of that person's follower list that was and of the creator who shared or posted that content. So where this becomes a gold mine, like I said, is where you can actually re-advertise your reviews. What you're going to do is you're out there looking on an ongoing basis, you're hunting for reviews. Where you get a review, you want to exploit that as much as you can. I've talked about on other videos where if you have a review, the number one thing you always do is you take that review, you package it up in a remarketing ad, you run that remarketing ad on as many platforms as you can. Facebook, Instagram, Google Display Network. If Google Display Network doesn't allow you to do it, do ad roll. You can, and taboola everywhere. So that's because if you're paying good money to get somebody to your site, sometimes $5, $10, $20 a click from like Google search ads, and you don't spend a penny to have your ad show up for somebody who, after they left and is still probably evaluating whether they're going to buy from you or a competitor, you're just throwing money away. You'll get twice as many of the people that you drive in that are qualified to buy with a really good remarketing sequence set up behind it. And the best kind of remarketing stuff you can do is stuff that builds trust. Of course, if you have an obscure product or service, you reinforce the benefits too, but at least half of what you do to get more sales out of a set audience or amount of people coming in that are qualified that you're paying for to come to your site, whether they're coming from a Google search ad or referral or whatever, is to focus on your testimonials, your reviews, and specifically, your reviews that other people, these social media content creators, when they review your product or service, to get it specifically seen. And beyond that, as I mentioned under other videos, once you do that remarketing like that, and you've taken all the organic ones you could find and put them into remarketing ads, so everybody comes to your site is guaranteed to see them, you go out and you actually foster those reviews by paying or doing whatever, free product or whatever, and you get it reviewed by these social media content creators for no other reason that you could take that review when it's done, package it up into a remarketing ad, and guarantee that X percentage more people are going to buy from you that you're initially getting to come to your site because they saw that review every single time after they've left that site. Because through all the platforms, you'll basically, if they're on the online again at all after that, they will be able to find your review, your good glowing review. Now, beyond that, there's specifically other things that you can do with these reviews. Which I'm going to go through here. As far as influencers and brand deals or doing influencer marketing in general, you actually got 3 basic options now. You can use standard sponsored posts. So those are the ones where you just go to a Facebook, a Facebook page owner, an influencer. Maybe it's on Instagram. Maybe it's on YouTube or whatever, and you just say, hey, just like I said, hey, I have this product or service. Would you like to review it? Here, it's free, or I'll give you $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever you're going to do. They review it, and then that's it. Of course, you're hoping that when they do review it, a certain percentage of their follower base sees it and wants to buy it. And generally, with that said, that's always the first step when you get into influencer marketing itself. There's a second type of influencer marketing that you can get into, which is the brand-owned paid ads here. And so this is basically where you're taking things a step further, where that influencer that you paid to review your product or service, you take their post, basically, you reconfigure it, rejig it, and then advertise it specifically from your social media account. So, and with that, of course, it looks like it's clear that you're sharing a post of somebody else's post, or sharing some content that's somebody else somewhere, influencer, has reviewed your product or service. So that's a second kind of main type you can do. And as it comes to influencer marketing and derivatives of it, there's a third type, which is brand whitelisted ads. So, and this actually can be broken into 2 separate types. Facebook and, just Facebook/Instagram has for a while allowed you to link up with the content creators on Facebook, on Instagram, so that Facebook could get a piece of the action. They saw this influencer marketing space blow up. They wanted to get a piece of the action. They let you through Facebook Ad Manager actually, and through that and through Facebook, actually set up so where if somebody shares a post on their Facebook or Instagram page, you can boost that post with advertising itself through your account. And that was been going on for a while, but they took things another step further with this whitelisted ads. Whitelisted ads, they let you kind of do basically the same thing, but you can take what was shared and you can actually change it, morph it, test it out. You can, like I said, take an image, make it a video. You can take a video, make it a shorter video, a clip of a video. You can change the call to action to say buy now versus just learn more. And then there's a call to action, of course, now on the post so they can go physically go buy after seeing what was shared there, i.e. the review, which I said is the really hot thing to do. With that, with the brand whitelisted ads, which is the one, this you want to skip right over the boosting your, review that somebody else gave for you. Go right for whitelisted ads because it just works so much better. You can take the review that you see that they got, or you basically got by hooking up with them, had them give the review because you paid them, got some sales, realized you want more of that, and then you're going to go straight to, of course, do some brand paid ads where you take that post, share it through your own Facebook page, Instagram page through the paid ads, but also dip into the whitelisted ads where you're going to take that content, put it into your own ad, and then with that, the main difference between the whitelisted ads and the brand-owned paid ads on number 2 here is that when you run the ad, it's going to look like it's from the influencer itself. The brand, if you do brand-owned paid ads, that looks like it's shared by you. So the review, you're sharing it, but it's clear you're sharing the review. In the whitelisted ads, when you advertise, it looks like the original creator of the content and the review is sharing that review itself, which makes it much more trustworthy. What other people say about you is 4 times more likely and more credible and believable than what you can say about yourself, which is why these whitelisted ads are so freaking awesome. You can take the review that another influencer did naturally for you organically that you found or that you paid to get done through that influencer, and you can put it into an ad and then publish that ad, and that ad looks like it was published physically by the actual original creator, and it will go out. You can have it certainly go out to their follower list, like I said, and get more sales, because if you know that it went out to some of their follower list, got some sales, if you get it out to the rest of their follower list and hit them with the ad upwards of 7 times, because sometimes it takes seeing the ad multiple times to be able to really give it credence. That's with the power of 7s in marketing. You can do that with the whitelisted ads, and you can do it through it's done through ghost posting. So in other words, you're not going to be able to, as you run this ad that looks like it's just basically another post shared by that original creator that gave you the review, it's not going to show up on their feed. It's going to show up for all their followers if you're targeting their followers, which you could target more than their followers, but for all practical purposes, we'll talk about just targeting their followers now. It'll target all their followers, but if you go to their Facebook or Instagram page and you're not a follower, basically, or in general, you're not going to see it posted there, which makes it more likely that the person who left you the review, whether organically or if you had to pay them, they're more likely to let you push that review that you have harder. Like in other words, if you say, here, I'm going to give you $1,000 to review this product. You review it, you get a few sales, and you come back to them and say, hey, that got some great sales. Will you publish it again? I'll give you another $2,000 for publishing it again. And they don't want to piss off their users, so they're not going to probably want to do it. But with the whitelisted ads, they don't have to piss off their users. It'll be seen by their follower list, but it won't come off and won't be seen in their normal feed, look like normal content. It'll just be shown to them in the form of an ad, but also still looks like it's authored by that individual content creator, which makes it, basically not clog up their own, feed, news feed on their pages. So you get ghost posting through that. Now, in order to do this, I'll come back to the whitelisting. You can actually advertise with these whitelisted ads to the entire follower list. Again, basically the best kind of thing that you can do is see that if you got that review and it got you any sales at all, you can go back or got sales from that follower list. You find out that one way or another, and regardless or however you got the review from that content creator. You can advertise to the rest of the follower list so that 100% see it, and then you can have it shown up to 7 times, and then really squeeze out every bit of value out of that follower list of that content creator who left you the review. You can actually go after lookalikes of their followers itself. So obviously you've now extracted all the value out of their follower list. Everybody on their follower list has seen it 7 times. You got all the value you're going to get out of that particular creator's followers list. You go to set up a 1x lookalikes audience of people who look like the follower list itself, or it could be the lookalikes of the people from the follower list that you advertise to that bought, which that you're not going to probably have enough to make that a good audience. So just lookalikes of the follower list itself, and then you can keep going with what you got there. So you can start with, in essence, a paid opportunity where you go to a content creator. I'll give you $1,000 to post this. You get some sales. You go ahead, take the content, post it on your own page, advertise it with your own brand name on it. Then you go ahead and advertise it with their brand name on it to their follower list, like I said. And then once you've done that, you can go and run lookalikes targeting to their individual follower list and get even more sales out of that one original review by that original content creator. So I would recommend just starting with their followers until you get everything you can out of that. Then you'll know the lookalikes is the next thing to do, because if the followers list works well, the lookalikes probably will get that to work. Not every time, but it's enough to certainly test. We'll just say that. But in order to do this, you have to be whitelisted from that individual creator. But like I said, it's not much for them to do it. They have to have a Facebook My Business, Facebook for Business account set up, and they have to be able to give you access to their posts, to their pixels if you're going to do lookalikes targeting. But it's easy for them to give access, but it's for them to be able to get money. You're going to offer them money to be able to just access their through the Facebook for Business account all their assets, so you can see their assets. Of course, the assets that are if you wanted to boost some other posts from them, you could see what kind of does well versus not a little bit. But basically, that review that you're going to go after, which I recommend, basically this is the main thing that we're focusing on when we're talking about whitelist ads, reviews of your product and service. You can advertise with that person's name on it, the review, and then you can run that ad with the review on it as much as you'd like. That individual content creator doesn't have to mess up their feed, because they're always dealt with the dilemma of, I want to get brand deals, but if I offer too many brand deals, I'll alienate my audience. But when you come to them saying that you want to run a whitelisted ad, they're not really. You've uncorked a bottleneck for them. They can get more out of their follower list without alienate their audience by seeming too promotional, given that they're actually seeing an ad. This is it on their newsfeed itself. More likely to do it, basically. But whitelisting is easy. Once you get whitelisted, you can advertise that review of yours for as long or as much as you like. You want to hit everybody on their follower list 7 times, you can do it. If you want to advertise to people that look like their follower list, you can do it. Now, so the general flow of things is you start with your standard sponsored posts. You go and like I said, find all the people who left your review, go to them and ask them that specifically, would you, well, let's take a step backwards here. Of course, if you've got no product reviews already, if you have no product reviews, what you're going to do is you're going to find people that you can pay or give free product to get the reviews. But you're not going to go to them with the whitelisted ads because it's complicated. It's going to scare them off. It's too complicated, whatever. You're just going to simply say, I'll pay you $2,000 for a product review, or give you this free product that's really expensive. And of course, before you do that, you're going to decide who's going to review it by looking at their demographics. And you can find out their demographics, by the way, also by asking them, do you have a media kit? I want to be able to buy a featured post from you. what is your follower demographics. You look through that. You look at the the demographics of the customers you have. Then once you find a right match there, you go, okay, fine. Saw your demographics. They match up with our customer demographics. We want to give you $2,000 for a review post. They understand that business very well. Not everybody's doing this whitelisted ad thing yet. A lot are. The bigger ones will know about it, but smaller ones won't. And you extract all the value out of that initial post. If you get any kind of sales at all, then you're going to use that review in all your remarketing, like I said. But also you can use that review to get more sales by taking the review and just making an ad out of it in your own ad account and then advertising that and see where you can go with it. And then you're going to go into using that review through the whitelisting program. You link up with their Facebook for Business account, and you start taking that post, reconfiguring that post itself with the review on it, putting it into an ad so that you can advertise it and look like the ad is coming out from that original content creator, to see what you can do with that type of framing around and being able to advertise that individual review that they gave you, that you paid for. That's the general process that you go through to just kind of squeeze dry any value you can get from that product review. And so whereas it might cost a lot of money to get a product review or a service review, you can justify it when you start stacking up all the potential revenue that you can squeeze out between all of these different methods that I gave you here. So even if you have to pay $5,000 for a review, between you do the remarketing and then the post itself and then the ads, self-branded ads that you can do, then the whitelisted ads that you can do, that's nothing at the end of the day. You just got to be able to find, I'll tell you up front, you just got to be able to find somebody who has similar demographics and interests as your customers, and if you can find that, this will generally work. So with that, you are going to, I'll tell you, I'll come back to this. Basically, if you're in a low trust space, spaces like cosmetics, hair regrowth, weight loss, muscle growth products, testosterone boosting products, natural health products, all this kind of stuff where people are very skeptical, and your biggest hurdle to get over with people is the trust. If they knew it worked, they would just buy it. That's where influencer marketing really kicks ass. And specifically when you want to get into, instead of doing the traditional advertising, looking into doing the paid review, start promoting the paid review with the brand owned ads, like I said, where you can take the assets, promote them in your own ad account, looks like it's coming from you, and then advertisements that look like it's coming from the creator itself, and go that general direction versus just creating ads that say how good your product or service is and then advertising and trying to hit the right targeted audience, which may work. But what I'll tell you for a fact is in these low trust spaces, you'll a lot of times get 2 to 5 times higher of a return than regular pitch ads where you're just saying, this is my product, this is what it does, in those particular spaces. Because like I said, what somebody else, and you can go and research this online, what somebody else says about you is 4 times more effective than what you could say about yourself. So don't actually, when your biggest problem is to get trust, don't hinder yourself by not going out and just buying the trust that you need and can get. It's like why other bigger companies buy the celebrity endorsements all the time. They know as it comes to these spaces where trust is a factor, acne creams, all this stuff, you need that. It's a critical piece of what you're doing. And if you're looking at your competitors and they're using competitor stuff or like celebrity stuff, the biggest ones, or using influencer marketing, you pretty much know you can't pass this up, and this works. And with good advertising knowledge, knowing how to do this whitelisting thing, which can just totally blow up one review even for your business that can go on and just generate business upon forever. Once, particularly as you have the lookalikes audience set up on a follower's audience, that person's audience is growing all the time. That ad can just perpetually get you more revenue, and that could be your sole Facebook/Instagram campaign. Is just people that get on that person's follower list and make the lookalikes list, see your review. That's your entire sales funnel that you need for your business right there. You don't have to go after somebody and build up this whole layers of trust to get that person understanding and believing what you're actually saying. If you can say, if somebody knew what you're saying is true, they would buy it. This is the general way to go. Influencer marketing, but not just the plain influencer marketing, which you're going to pay a lot for a review that gets seen by a few people. You pound the shit out of it with more advertising through whitelisting and the brand labeled, where you're sharing it through your own brand, that same review as well, remarketing, and through trying to get new people to the site using that particular review. And so anyway, that gives you a general idea. There's 2 to 5x difference of return, leading with a review that looks like it's being shared or advertised specifically by another person other than you, does really, really well. You should definitely try this out. You can't lose. You could spend $5K setting up a campaign between the cost of the review and running the ad spend. You can make millions of dollars long term once you find out it works through just one influencer, because you can just also start doing this through all kinds of influencers that have similar demographics and interest matching as per that one you hit. You only got to hit one, and then you can do 15 like that, and you're making millions of dollars off of this entire strategy as a whole. So, and with that, I will also say, I wouldn't try to just test one influencer if it doesn't work. This is where and why you want to study greatly your own customer demographics. Go get into Google Analytics, get into setting up a Google Ads account, setting up a conversion pixel, going and looking at your audience insights there and see what people are interested in, that are the people who normally buy from you. It's free information. You can actually do that by setting up a conversion pixel on Google Conversion Pixel on your site. You can obviously look at your Facebook data about your converters versus non-converters, but just really study it. And then with that, if somebody doesn't want to give you good information about their follower list that you want to review from, just go to somebody else. And don't settle for you feeling strongly confident that who you want the post from matches your customer type. And that way, and with that, if you go to that extent, you really do the best job you think you can doing that prior research. You do 5 of these different campaigns for 5 different influencers, you should be able to knock one out of the park at least. As a final kind of thing, I also wanted to mention that take content you find about your company on other platforms, and then you can also repurpose it. So in other words, if you find a review naturally or organically, going back to that, on YouTube, you can go and find that person, or talk to the person and say, I want to run a Facebook campaign with the same review on it. Would you be fine and willing to just post this review on Facebook to push and power a Facebook campaign you're trying to get working, given for whatever reason you didn't want to do YouTube ads? So basically, you find the review. Most everybody's got a Facebook, and that's doing the reviews has a Facebook/Instagram following, and then with that, you just get them to do what they did there, and then go through this whole spiel that I gave you here with getting them to initially share the post there for money, and then do the ad campaigns surrounding brand sponsored content, and then also the whitelisted content shared, or what looks like shared by their brand. On the flip side, if you actually go through everything I told you here and you did really well, take that stuff to Facebook, take that stuff to TikTok, take that stuff to any other platform you can. Say, I want the same review that I gave you on YouTube, or you gave me a review on Facebook, will you give me a review on YouTube? And then with that, because if you did this on Facebook, it works. Generally what works on one platform will work on all the rest of them to a degree, and you just got to dial in what you're willing and can pay for traffic on each platform, given it converts at a little different rate. But on YouTube, it's easier to do this stuff for the most part. I mean, you can target any YouTube channel you want within the Google Display Network and within the Google Ads platform itself. Of course, beyond that, I've talked about how you can actually, so you could, for your own, you can target everybody on that YouTube channel with a review that they did for you on YouTube, and have an ad show up for anybody that is anywhere basically on YouTube that you want, including actually on that person's YouTube channel itself while people are watching that person's YouTube videos. So in other words, they're on that, somebody that you get a video review on a person's YouTube channel, you take that video review, you advertise it to people that are watching other videos on that person's YouTube channel, so that you make sure basically everybody that's on that YouTube channel is going to see it. And so you don't have to go through the same whitelisting stuff. This whitelisting stuff just made, what you could basically already do through YouTube on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and without, with a few extra steps, of course itself. And, to take it a step further with that YouTube thing, of course, you could pay a little bit more to that YouTuber and say, I'm going to advertise the review you did for me on or to people that are watching the other videos on your channel. I want the ad to look like, you co-sponsored the ad, it's so to say, and you could do some stuff there. But for the most part, the review, because it's on that person's videos, on that person's channel still, you don't need that. It's going to look like, people don't understand advertising. They're going to say, I was watching a video with Jimmy, and then an ad popped up with Jimmy reviewing a product. It just seems like Jimmy made that ad, which is the whole genius behind it and why we used it so much here. Where specifically we would find a YouTube review, even just organically, and then make sure that review shows up for everybody else on that channel by having the video ad show up on all other videos on that person's channel. Because, of course, why not? They already trust Jimmy. Why would we not want to have that review show up for everybody on that channel to get every sale we can from that particular YouTuber's complete audience? So, respectively, and there's a lot of, and with that, there's a lot you can do. If you start getting, you start advertising on people's YouTube channels that have, video reviews, they have done video reviews for you, and then therefore magnify everything you can get out of that review by having that review show up as an ad on other videos on that person. Once you've, gotten everything you can out of that particular YouTuber's audience by having your video review that YouTuber did for you show up as an ad on all that other YouTuber's videos, you can, and do that for every organic review that you find on YouTube. You go and start paying for reviews on other YouTubers' channels. You do the same thing there. And once you've done that enough, you build that up. Do you have enough converters, people converting? Then you can start doing lookalikes, or as they call it through Google Ads, similar to audience targeting. And just start targeting all the people that you built up through the reviews. You eventually get enough data, Google's going to be able to figure out enough about the people who are that seen the review. There's enough information there that they can, without the review, or basically you just take one of the reviews, you have one of those reviews show up for somebody, it'll, even though that's not a YouTuber they're familiar with, it'll pull anyway. They get the general idea. There's no reason, I always say it all the time in PPC and on this channel, don't start with the hardest stuff. Why would you go out there and just have this super wide, broad campaign? You set your budget at $25 a day. The campaign's limited so where it shuts off after $25. It says you can spend $500 a day if you want. It's stupid. Narrow it down to just the most profitable stuff first. Once you get that working, go to the stuff that's a little less profitable, and then just keep going and reinvesting the profits. You don't have to advertise something that you don't have third-party endorsements from. And if you don't have the third-party endorsements, you pay a few people for them. You get the sales from them. You get other third-party endorsements, and then you advertise the shit out of those endorsements, and you just keep going to the point where if you don't, you basically don't have to sell anything without leading with the endorsement if that's the only thing that works. And in general, just why not start there? So I think I said my piece with this whole thing. that's what whitelisting ads are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If you get results on Facebook, you should try this on TikTok. If you're getting it on TikTok, try this on Facebook. If you're getting it on both, start trying to do the same thing or the equivalent of that on YouTube, like I said, and you can, keep going with this. Add more influencers, more reviews, start getting into lookalikes, targeting, so on and so forth. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel, because I have a ton of great content on this channel about other money-making strategies we're using for our PPC clients at our PPC agency. I really try my best to share the stuff that works and the stuff that doesn't work, pitfalls and so forth, so you can learn from so-called our mistakes in the testing that we got to constantly do at our agency to find out what stuff works, and we have the kind of budgets to be able to find out what works and what doesn't for your advantage. So, this is the best, YouTube channel that I know of with the actual actionable advice on how to make money with PPC ads at the strategy level, and you're just not going to find other content elsewhere like it. That said, I also have a blog, by the way, at guaranteedppc.com/blog with step-by-step instructions on how to build PPC campaigns the way that are basically guaranteed to make money for our clients, and that we've tested and developed to be able to, where we can offer a guarantee for our clients running campaigns like them, Google search, Facebook, Taboola, and different places, Twitter. If you want to find out more detailed information, more step-by-step information on how to build campaigns like we do, you can find it there, as opposed to the overarching high-level stuff that we have on this channel through YouTube. Beyond that, if you have any questions about what I talked about, white labeling ads, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. You can ask me anything you want there. Other than that, I appreciate you stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one.